They don't clap.
Hello? Hi, Cliff.
Hello.
You hear me all right?
I can.
Okay, good. I'll put myself on mute now.
Okay.
Can we keep Ken on mute?
Ken Bruin or Ken Neverman?
Ken Neverman.
maybe Ken Everman should put his face mask on as well.
Yeah. We need one more for a quorum, looks like.
Looks like yes. I imagine Tom will be showing up.
I'm sure that Tom will show up.
Hey, Mike.
He's
Yes.
muted. There you go.
Hey, Mike, I think what we're going to do in terms of procedure is we're going to have Cliff call the roll whenever you're ready to, whenever you call the question for the vote, then Cliff will call the roll
Okay.
and record the vote by voice. So just keep that in mind as you move your way through the agenda. Whenever you're ready, just say, okay, call the roll, and then Cliff will take it from there.
Okay, that sounds good. I was prepared to do that, but that works.
Awesome.
There we go. There it is.
Can you hear me, Cliff?
Yeah. Tom's here.
Yep, I made it through this time a little easier. should be ordered. If they're not, find the guy's name. So you can
Oh,
see,
wow.
that should be number one. You have the name, your application, and then all you do is just call out all the members and record yes or no in those fields,
Wow.
and whether or not carried.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sounds good. Thanks, Mike.
Can you guys see the application on the screen right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. I'll take it down until we're ready to start. If I can figure out how to do that. Oh, here we go.
Looks like,
Did it go away? Oh,
you
no.
may have to move it up and down.
I will. Hang on a second. I don't know what just happened. I lost my whole meeting.
Uh-oh.
Crap.
I'll do it.
Cliff, Tony, whenever you guys are ready, I can call to order and get started.
Yeah, I think we're ready.
Tony, that a nod, yes. We'll go ahead and call to order the meeting for General Home Improvement Licensing Board of Review for today, June 3rd. First time virtual, so hopefully painless here as we work through this. Cliff, it looks like Shane and Daniel are missing. Do you want to work through the roll call for presence?
I can. Ross Appledorn,
I'm here.
Ken Neverman,
I think we want a verbal response, Ken, if you're muted.
Ken?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Okay. Tom? Sennick?
Yep, I can hear you here.
Okay. And Ike Young, Chairman.
Yes, I am here. Thank you.
Okay.
Do we have any business related to prior minutes, prior meeting minutes? I don't know that we have those in front of us. Should we postpone that to a future meeting?
I totally forgot about minutes. If we could, that'd be great. Thank you.
Or send it out if you're able to, Tony, and we can do that in the course of the meeting here if you've got that available. Moving on, is there any other business before we get into, I think we can cover the people that are on here too. It looks like Mr. Wolf is on. Maybe we can cover him first if we're able to navigate that.
Yeah, I think we have Mr. Ricks and Mr. Wolf, which are number
Okay.
27 and number 38.
Okay.
Do you hear that, Tony?
Yep, 27 and 38.
Tony?
Have it up on the screen. Oh, I've got 28 on the screen. 27. There.
There we go. Back one.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
I've got some notes on this, so I think I'll go ahead and swear them in and we'll have some questions if everybody's okay with that.
Yep.
Okay.
Mr. Ricks, if you could make an audible sound so I see you on the screen, I'm going to go ahead and swear you in and then we'll have some questions for you.
Thank you. I'm present.
Okay. If I could get your right hand up. If everybody else could mute, please, while I do this, that would be great. I see your right hand, Mr. Ricks. Thank you. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And if you could, please state your name and address for the record.
David Ricks. Address is 1336 West 7th Avenue, Columbus, Ohio, 43212.
Great. Thank you. You're looking for a general license. You passed the test. I think the main thing that jumped out at me was hands-on experience related to structural. If you could speak to that, please, that would be great.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. I wasn't really quite sure the best way to fill out the work history here, but I've had my own company in addition to these for a few years. It was two different ones. My current company that I'm applying for, Working Dog, obviously since February, but I've taken on a number of different interior remodeling jobs, but a lot of it has not required any major permit work or moving structural walls, things like that. So I don't have as much experience in that, but carpentry, trim, remodeling kitchens and bathrooms, floors, drywall, that's really my sweet spot, and that's what I'm trying to actually do. And that's the work I'm going after. I just want to be able to do it for some customers that require the bank to finance it. So I need the licensing for that.
So as part of our review of the application, you need to have represented, or we need to verify that you've represented 3 years of hands-on experience in that, specifically as it relates to the structural is what I see lacking here.
Okay.
Are there any other comments? I don't see that this qualifies as my reaction to this. Ross or Ken, do you guys have any comments?
I agree. The finish and trim carpentry is not a qualifier. You obviously have a lot of experience in that, but there just isn't the structural experience, as Michael already said.
The only other thing I could say then, it specifically is I've replaced rafters and swapped out walls and framing, done subfloor, but I understand that my primary, task for 3 years. No, I wasn't aware of that specifically. I apologize for wasting your time if that's the case.
I think if you're interested in limited scope licenses, I think we can modify that and change that.
Yes, sir. I'd like to do what I can here. I was trying to be strategic. Like I said, I apologize, and I appreciate that opportunity.
Which limited scope licenses are you interested? Please don't say all of them.
Well, the work that I would like to be of those ones, the ones on the contract we're looking at, those specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Most of what I do is not really on there. Siding, windows, doors, deck installation, gypsum board, fencing. I do a lot of that and have been.
I'm sorry, Mr. Rick, did you say roofing or fencing?
Fencing.
Okay, thank you.
Does anyone have any questions, board, associated with those 4 that he's identified? Looking at his experience, it seems like those are covered.
Hey, Mr. Rex, I would say if it's possible for you to work with some LVLs and some steel beams with maybe some contractors, and then we could slate it. You could set it up for later. You can get your home improvement license. That probably would help you out tremendous if you can get some more structural experience.
And if I'm just subbing in, then should I just keep contracts that I've done the work for then, or what's the best way to present that work for you gentlemen?
It's kind of nice if you can work with somebody that's qualified, that you can learn the experience on your structural LVLs and steel beams, bearing points and stuff like that. That's a big with remodeling, because you'd be taking out walls and everything, so that would definitely help your experience.
I think it needs to be represented on the application. We don't need a journal. We're not going to go fact check you. I think you just need to represent it here and have it notarized, per the application process.
Yes, sir.
If you did a future.
I'm currently working full-time for my company here. So am I hearing right that it would be best to then take a full-time employment of some sort with an existing company to get the experience that you're looking for?
You need to be able to represent 3 years of experience, of hands-on experience doing that. So there are a number of ways you could do that.
I don't want to take up any more of your valuable time. I appreciate your help.
Do you, I mean, we can go ahead and modify this if you're interested to a limited scope license and proceed, right? Tony, is there any conflict in doing that, or any administrative burden?
We might want to ask Wendy, but I think it should be fine.
Well, the other thing that you do, Mr. Ricks, is you could get a G license, which is a registration, and then you're licensed as a general contractor. That may satisfy the requirement if it's a bank finance job. If it's a job that doesn't require a permit, like you're replacing cabinets, doesn't even require a permit, and maybe getting a G would satisfy the bank.
I appreciate that. I'll do that.
So as far as completion of this, we'll forego, we'll just reject this essentially and forego the limited scope licenses.
I'm sorry, is that a question for me?
Yes, I was just curious if you're interested in the limited scope licenses or if you want to just forego that and go the G route.
Well, are both options, well, I guess, are both options available right now then?
As far as our board's concerned, the limited scope license to me is an option. We can modify this, assuming Wendy doesn't have an issue with it, modify this from an application for a general to the 4 limited scope licenses that you've indicated.
It seems like that would be a wise decision, and I can work on the G separately unless I'm missing something. And that sounds like a good plan if that's the case. Thank you.
I agree. Yeah, I think that's a good option to do that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So
and my
Tony,
only, sorry, this is Wendy. Just a quick comment that maybe have Mr. Ricks specifically state that he wants his application that's before the board to be modified to those, you know, certain scopes, and then have a roll call vote on that one.
Okay, so Mr. Ricks.
So it's on the record that way.
Okay, perfect. Mr. Ricks, just can you confirm that you'd like to modify your application from a general to a limited, including the following 4 limited scope licenses for siding, windows, doors, deck, installation, gypsum board, and fencing?
Yes, sir. I can.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions before we proceed with the roll on voting? If you want to call the roll. I guess the roll being recommending approval for this. Or do I need a motion? I guess I need a motion,
yeah,
don't we?
Right, motion, right.
A second.
Let's go back to the motion. What's the motion?
I make a motion to approve Mr. Ricks for 4 limited scope licenses.
I second.
All in favor? Oh, I can't do that. Just Cliff, call the roll, please. Cliff, you're muted, I think.
Okay. Ross,
Aye.
Ken,
Ken's muted also. Let's hear you, Ken. Ken's still muted. There, he's unmuted. Let's hear it.
Ken,
Aye.
Thank you.
okay, Tom,
Aye.
and Mike.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Tony, how will you send Mr. Ricks information? Is that email or mail or something he has to pick up? You'll have some follow-up information for him.
Yes, I will. I'm not sure how they'll do it. It'll probably be email. I have communication with Mr. Ricks already, so I'll make sure that he gets the information that he needs.
Okay.
I better check on that for all the rest of the applicants. I'm sure it'll probably be regular mail, unless they specifically ask for special accommodations. I'll have to check with Para Tackett, but I'll email you, Mr. Ricks, and we'll let you know how it's going to happen.
Typically, we have a handout at the meeting that gives you direction on further process. Obviously, we can't do that now, but stay tuned for a mail or email information. Feel free to follow up with Tony if you don't see anything.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Should I log off then?
You're welcome to stick around. You're welcome to log off. I don't think we need anything further from you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you so much.
All right, Mr. Wolf, number 38. Are you still there with us, Mr. Eric Paul Wolf?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. I will swear you in as well, and we'll have a few questions. Speak again so I can see you. If I could get your right hand up. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sorry, what application number do I need to pull up?
38, please. Mr. Wolf, if you could state your name and address for the record, please.
Eric Paul Wolf, 4179 Maple Grove Drive. That's Grove City, Ohio, 43123.
Great, thank you. So you are looking for 11, I think it's 11 licenses. It says 12 on our, sorry, it's just, there's a difference on our agenda that says 12. I think it's 11 licenses that you're, limited scope licenses that you're seeking. Essentially, we're going to need to hear representative experience for each of these. I guess in the interest of time, I'll ask first if you want to, if you're inclined to, knowing that you might lack experience, or if that's the case, if you'd like to strike any of these. Otherwise, you can go ahead and talk about each one of these, and we can walk through the.
I marked the masonry fireplaces. It's not something I really do, so I mean that one could definitely come off.
Okay.
Wooden pole, I have installed quite a few of those for a company I used to subcontract through. And then, I mean, siding, doors, windows, the deck insulation, basement waterproofing. The only reason I did sidewalks and driveway approaches, I don't plan to do any driveways, mainly sidewalks, just for downspout reasons. The roofing, actually, that could come off as well. I don't do roofing at all. I don't know why I marked it, sorry. And asphalt driveway or paving as well. That I don't know why I marked that as well.
Let's go the other way. Which I lost track there a little bit. Go through the ones that you want us to keep.
Okay, the siding, doors, windows, the deck insulation, basement waterproofing, sidewalks, just like I said, just mainly for downspout reasons, if a customer does need that done. Fencing, gypsum board as well. And then should be it.
Okay, so I'm getting rid of swimming pools and spas, asphalt paving, masonry fireplaces, prefabricated fireplaces, and roofing.
Correct.
Okay, so let's go through in order here, if we can, the experience related to each of those that you have.
Okay, I mean, I've done majority of all of those quite a bit. I subcontract for over 5 years for a company called Kitchen Fronts and Wall-to-Wall Remodeling, which, I mean, they took on pretty much everything they could get to keep everyone busy. So, I mean, I've done numerous decks, fences through them as well. I've done pretty much everything on that list. For the last 5 years, I subcontracted through them. I also subbed through JSB Home Solutions, which they always did quite a few windows, siding moving, and everything like that. They do a lot of interior work, which is what I typically do. I'm mainly just looking for the license to obviously prevent, like, to show it to customers, pull the permits instead of them having to pull their own homeowner's permit for any of that stuff. And I have full intentions of getting a full home improvement contracting license. I'm just kind of up in the air whether I want to go the GC route or home improvement. So this is just pretty much temporary for me until I take the test and obviously try to get approved through you guys as well.
So let me be specific. Do you have a year of experience doing siding, windows, and doors?
Yes.
When did you do that, and what did you do?
I've done plenty of hardy board. I did that for almost 2 years, and then in the midst of starting my own company, I needed to make money, so I helped another guy who contracted through Nicholas Builders, and that's all I would do was siding, windows, doors, exterior trim. Almost a year and a half.
Let's move to deck installation.
When I was 18, I used to work, well, actually 16 all the way up to 18. I worked for another guy who contracted through wall-to-wall remodeling. And he was actually half owner. His name was John Bidner. He's actually resident of Florida now, but that's pretty much all he did was all framing work. So, I mean, we did quite a bit of decks. I removed a bunch of walls with them, interior walls, load-bearing walls.
Let's stick with deck. Let's stick with the deck installation. How much time did you spend building decks with your hands?
Probably, I mean, I couldn't say like 3 years straight, but over a 4-year period of, I mean, maybe.
How many decks would you say you built?
Probably over 50 easily.
Okay. Let's move on to basement and basement waterproofing.
Basement waterproofing, did quite a bit of work with, it's called C&J. He used to work with the basement doctor and then branched off, started his own company, and that's pretty much what he specializes in. And I subbed through them for about a year because I was in the same midst of kind of going back and forth doing the siding as well.
Would you say not quite a year or just beyond a year?
It was close to a year. I wouldn't say it was not quite a year, but I mean, I did enough jobs to know how to do it the right way and get it done first try. I mean, apply for anything. If I didn't know what I was doing, I don't like to go back to jobs because of a mistake or have to tear something up. And I wouldn't take on anything.
The requirement as it relates to our review is having a year of experience in that field. I would suggest we strike that one unless you've worked for more than a year or met the requirement of the year.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was quite a year. I mean, I've remodeled plenty of basements, but not waterproofing on majority of them because they were already ready to go.
Okay. Let's move to sidewalks and driveway approaches.
Driveway, like I said, driveway approaches I haven't really done. It's mainly just the sidewalks, replacing that sidewalk that needs to be cut up and removed to put downspouts in. I've done that through wall to wall. I mean, they did quite a bit of downspouts, so that was almost 5 years. I mean, and they've, like I said, I mean, they took on anything they could, so it wasn't always doing downspouts, but I mean, I would say I've done probably about 15 of them.
Okay. Jump down to gypsum board, please.
Gypsum board was in that same period of when I was working with the guy who contracted to Nicholas Builders and did their siding and everything. So, I mean, we did quite a bit of gypsum board, hardy board. And like I said, that was over a year and a half.
Yeah, I couldn't, because when I go up here, when I went up here, the circles would show up, but it wouldn't show up down here. I didn't realize. Oh, yeah. My phone just shut off.
Cool.
So, keep moving here.
Full names, just to make it formal.
Okay.
Ross, do you have any questions?
I don't really know that we heard an answer to was the gypsum board experience greater than 1 year or less than 1 year?
I would say it was just shy of a year.
Yeah. So it sounds to me like we're down to
3. Any questions on those 3 from the board, Tom or Ken? We're down to siding, windows, doors, deck installation, sidewalks, and driveway approaches that I feel like were represented with the requisite experience.
I'm sorry, Michael. I had the 3 siding, windows, doors, decks, and fences. I thought the answer to the 1 year on sidewalks was also a no.
Yeah, you're right. He said basically sidewalks he's done, but driveway approaches he's not done. Fencing we didn't cover. I didn't cover yet, but I think that's represented on his. I think that's represented here.
Yeah, so I have siding, decks, and fencing.
Eric, are you comfortable with those three?
Yes.
Okay. So let me be specific in asking that question so it's on record. We're recommending acceptance of a reduction in what you've presented to 3 limited scopes from the previous 11 or 12 that are indicated. Those are siding, windows, doors, deck installation, and fencing. Eric, are you good with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Unless anybody else. Go ahead, Ken, or go ahead, Ross.
I'd say in that case, I make a motion that we approve Mr. Wolf for 3 limited scope licenses, including site installation and fencing.
Ken, if you could call the roll, please. I'm sorry.
Second,
Cliff, if you.
Okay, yeah. Ross
We get a
Appledorn.
second?
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, we did not have a second.
Second.
There's our second. My bad. Cliff, if you could call the roll now, please. Thank you.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman, Hey, Ken, when you want to talk, you got to unmute yourself.
I'm not on mute. I'm not muted. I don't know what the problem is.
Somebody else may have muted you.
Yeah, you. Pay attention.
You need to unmute yourself.
Listen.
Is that a yes?
Aye.
Tom Sendick
Aye.
and Mike Theo.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. So once again, Eric, you'll get some information from Tony. Follow up with her in email if you don't see anything in the near term.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Is there any way I could ask you a quick question?
Certainly.
Like I said, I was just planning on having this for a limited time because I do want to get the home or GC license. Like I said, I still need to kind of do some research and figure out which one I really want to go with. But mainly the only reason I want to do it is for bearing walls, some additions and stuff like that, which is pretty much what majority of all my work has been with the decks. And like I said, I've done all of it. So what I was wondering, I mean, is that's something that I'll have to go through this process again, or hopefully everything's reopened and present to you guys in person? Should I bring like a portfolio or anything like that?
Well, you're talking about structural things that involve a general license, so in which case you need to pass the test and have 3 years of hands-on experience. You can represent that on your application. You're welcome to supplement that with additional information.
Okay. All right.
But don't send us a portfolio with a bunch of pictures and stuff. We're not going to look at that. We're very simply going to look at the number of years of experience.
Okay. Gotcha.
Great. Thank you very much.
Gentlemen. Thank you for your time.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so I think we go back to number 1, unless there's anybody else that's joined us that I didn't notice. So
I have a couple of emails that came in while the meeting started that said that they were having trouble getting on the meeting. I just sent the invite to them again. This one says unable to join the meeting, did not receive notice, no response, and the meeting started 2 minutes ago. Oh, so he can't get in. When did I? Well, I just sent it to him again. hopefully hopefully the application will be sufficient and you won't need any input. Maybe this Brian will try to get in again. I'm not sure.
Which one is that,
When we
Tony?
get to him.
Okay, so one of them is Brian Boyd.
Can you hear me?
Oh, you
Yeah, what
there?
number would it be? Oh, he's on.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I can hear you.
There. Hello, Brian.
Hi.
Perfect. Okay,
I'm
great.
in.
Okay, I will mute
What
myself
number?
and pull up Brian's.
Number
Brian's
5.
Yes, number 5.
Can we confirm what he's applying for? Fencing is listed on the agenda, but not on his.
I don't need fencing. I don't know how that got on there.
Oh, he's on.
Fair enough.
Hello.
Perfect.
All right. Yeah, I can tell you what I want in there.
Brian, let's hold on just a second. I think we might be able to. This one might be a quick and easy one. Give me 1 second here to introduce it. He's looking for 4 limited scope licenses: siding, windows, doors, deck installation, sidewalks and driveway approaches, and also roofing. To me, the experience looked appropriate.
All right. Yeah, I
Need to make a motion to approve if there's no objection to that.
Second.
Brian, let's hold on just a second. I think we might be able to. Might be a quick and easy one.
Okay.
He's looking for. Cliff, we have a motion to approve the application number 5 for Brian Boyd, and a second as well. If you can call roll, please.
Ross Appledorn.
The experience looked appropriate.
All right.
Motion to approve if there's no objection to that. Brian, if you could mute your phone, please. We're getting some feedback, I think, from your phone. Let's hold on.
Sorry. Let me figure out.
Thank you. Motion. I didn't hear Ross. Did Ross say aye?
No. Ross Appledorn.
Aye.
Ken Neverman.
Aye.
Tom Sinek.
Aye.
Mike Dion.
Aye. Motion carries to approve application number 5. Brian, you're all set. Tony will get you some information in the mail or email. Feel free to follow up with her if there's any delay with that. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Mr. Chairman, I did not hear, for some reason, I couldn't tell who made the motion and who seconded that on that application.
Ross made the motion. Tom seconded.
Thank you.
Second.
Application number 5. Brian, you're all set. Tony will get information in the mail or email. Feel free to follow up with her if there's any. Brian, we're still getting feedback from her phone.
Thank
We're
you.
all done with you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for calling in. Appreciate it. All right, back to number 1. Tony, is there anybody else trying to get in?
I am checking right now. I think what the gentleman was saying was he didn't get the notice in time and he can't get in right now. I'm going to check. Hang on.
Tony, why don't we keep moving with the other 39 applications, and then if that guy, if you want to jump in between one, we can work that in. So application number 1 is a general. We've got a passed test. My comment was that the experience on structural looked a little bit light or missing. Does anybody have any additional comments on that?
I agree with you, and I've never seen anyone do this before, but the guy literally listed 5,375 hours. Well, that's still not 3 years. Even if he works 40 hours a week, it's still less than 6,000 hours.
Right?
Yep.
So my answer would be no.
So Cliff, do you recommend that we table this as normal, or do we indicate disapproval?
However we would have normally done it. I mean, you can table it and try to contact to get more information or do a disapproval.
I think we do a disapproval is what we're normally doing, right?
I think so.
So Ken or Tom or Ross or Tom, unless either of you guys have comments to the contrary, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a
Come
motion.
in for some more information.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to disapprove the application.
Agreed.
Is that a second from Ken? Second from Tom?
Yes.
So
Second.
we will, Cliff, if you can call roll, please.
Okay. Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Keown.
Aye. Motion carries on application number 1 to reject it, disapprove it. Thank you. Motion or application number 2, James Bays, limited fencing only. This one looked fine to me.
Good with me.
I make a motion to approve the application.
Second.
We have a second from Ken. Cliff, if you could call roll, please.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Keown.
Aye. Motion carries on approval of application number 2. Application number 3, Joshua Lee Betts. This is one we've seen before and we rejected, looking for more experience. Nothing additional was provided. I don't know that we need to do anything with this one. It's already been rejected.
I got a question on that, Mike. I think he's an engineer. He's got a license of being a licensed engineer. He's got it on the last page of his license number and expiration. And doesn't that qualify to have
Okay.
HIC?
Yes, it
Yep.
does. I'm sorry. That note should have been attached to that still. And it's the problem, I think, the first time through was that he applied for limited, and what he is qualified for is a general as an engineer.
But he has to pass the exam still, right?
Yeah, where's the test?
He does not have to pass the test.
Doesn't?
No, he just has to have a professional license of being a professional engineer. And he's got
So he
the
passes
license
on that.
number.
Fair enough.
Okay, so I stand corrected on that. Thank you, Tom, for bringing that up. I will entertain a motion on this, given that he's has the PE certification, and that foregoes the need for the exam.
I'll make a motion to approve the application.
Second.
Have a second from Kenny. Cliff, if you could please call the roll.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Keown.
Aye. Motion carries on application number 3. We'll move to application number 4. Anthony Blackburn, looking for, I think, just fencing. This one looks fine to me.
Good to me.
Yep.
I make a motion to approve. There you go. Second.
Sorry, we had a motion from Kenny to approve and a second from Tom. Cliff, if you could call the roll, please.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek, Mike Pion.
Aye. Motion carries. Approving application number 4. We'll move to application number 5. We just did that one with Brian. We've approved that one. We'll move to application number 6. Michael Bryant. Looking for 2 limited scopes, asphalt paving and also sidewalks and driveway approaches. This one looked fine to me.
Me too.
Approve this
I make
application.
a motion to approve.
I got a motion from Tom to approve.
Second.
Got a second from Kenny. Cliff, if you could call the roll.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pion.
Aye. Motion carries on application number 6. Approved. We'll move to application number 7. We've got a limited scope license for 2 trades, roofing and also siding, windows, and doors. This was a little borderline for me. I thought it was a little light on detail and experience, or at least indication thereof.
I would be inclined to approve it.
Okay.
Second.
I do agree that he didn't do a great job of listing his experience.
Okay.
Are you going to make a motion to approve it or not?
I'm inclined to approve it. If you gentlemen disagree, let me know.
We're glad we have your personal opinion, but can you give us the real deal or what?
Well, I'd like to, before I do, is the motion going to pass, or do you gentlemen disagree?
I agree with you. Let's
pass the guy. You made an effort.
pass it. Yeah, I think he's trying. He's getting a license.
I make a motion to approve the application.
All right, we have a motion to approve. We got a second from Kenny. Cliff, please read the roll.
Ross Appledorn,
I think I heard Ross's aye.
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pion.
Aye. Motion carries on approving the application number 7. Jumping to application number 8. We've got several limited scopes.
I went through this one, Michael, and I don't see where he has any masonry fireplaces.
I agree with you, Ken.
I don't see the deck. I missed it, but I don't see the decks either.
He has roofing and siding and nothing else.
He's got a buddy that does his decking for him. I'd say get rid of the decking and the sidewalks.
Hey, we can't do that.
Driveways.
We can't do that without him being here.
We can't. So let's just disapprove it. Tell
Yep.
me he needs more information. I make a motion to disapprove the license.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Aye.
Cliff, please call the roll.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pion.
Aye. Motion carries. We've disapproved application number 8 due to lack of information. Tony, side note, I think we would probably be inclined to reduce some of the list here and approve what he's indicated with experience, but with him not being here, we can't really do that. Application number 9, Richard Clark. There's a limited request for 2 siding, windows, doors, and also roofing. Number 9.
I do not believe that.
I believe he has no hands-on experience. 0.
Correct.
All sales. the motion, Ross.
I make a motion to disapprove the application.
Second.
Hold on one second. I thought he had indicated in the back. I just want to look at the email again in the back.
He wrote that he grew up in a family business. He didn't indicate any time frames or any specific experience.
Ken and Ross, let me ask this question. What does it take to become Owens Corning certified? Or any of those other ones?
Nothing.
Could I do that myself without doing anything?
Yes.
Okay. Got it. Continue. I think we had a motion to disapprove it, and I think we had a second as well, Ken, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Cliff, if you want to call the roll, please.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pion.
Aye. Motion carries. Application number 9 has been disapproved. Application number 10, Josh Scott Kahn. Looks like he's got a limited, seeking 6 limited trades. I didn't see much here that encouraged approval. Anybody have a varying opinion or a confirming opinion?
I
Yeah.
would approve
I
this
know-
gentleman.
Yeah, well, the problem is I know him. He was a sub. Terrible.
Yeah. Hey, Mike,
Yes.
this one was disapproved before in March, the March
Okay.
meeting.
Yep.
Well, given that he has not provided any additional information, I don't know how we could approve it now, but I personally would be inclined to vote for approval of this application.
I would vote no.
We already voted no, and there's a conflict there that we are countering nothing unless a fresh look at it changes that. But
Fair enough.
I didn't see, I see a lot of things listed, but not a lot of verbs indicating what he's doing in his experience list.
I agree. I make a motion to keep it the way it is. How would you make that motion?
I think we already did that. I don't know, Tony, do you need something for the record, or can we just bypass that one since we already have recorded our reaction? Ken, why don't you go ahead and make a motion to confirm our prior disapproval?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to confirm our prior disapproval.
Thank you.
Second.
He's got a
Tony,
hand
did
up.
you need something? You take Tony off of mute.
He's not
Mike.
muted.
It
Not
shows that
muted.
she's muted on my screen.
She's on twice.
Not shown.
And then, hello?
Go
You
ahead,
were
Tony.
muted.
Okay. Anyway, I was talking this whole time. I thought you heard me.
Yeah.
This guy wanted to come before the board and says, please notify me. I would like to be there. I'm just worried that something, may have stopped him from getting into the meeting or something.
I hate to
I
say
don't
this.
know.
I know this guy. He
Okay.
he is an absolute flake. Like, I don't know how he gets dressed in the morning. Okay, he does not need a license.
Ken,
Oh.
we're on YouTube.
Ken,
Yeah,
Hey,
Ken, can you hear me?
this is being recorded.
Yeah.
Ken, thanks. Thanks for your opinion,
I
Ken.
advise you to recuse yourself maybe from this application.
Yeah, that'd probably be a good
and
idea.
If he has asked to be in front of the board, I would suggest you table this until the next meeting so that we can assure that he either can be in person or at least on virtually.
So I would entertain a motion to table this to either later in this meeting or a future meeting. If he's able to join us today, we can get through it.
I'll make a motion to table the application until Mr. Khan has an opportunity to appear before the board.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion to table and a second. Cliff, roll please.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pione.
Aye. Motion carries to table application number 10. Tony, please let us know if he's able to hop on or you have any other contact. Looks like we did get another call in. Somebody's on the phone. I don't know who that is. Call in user 4. Feel free to identify yourself if you're there and want to talk. Otherwise, we'll move on to application number 11. Robert Davern, looking for a limited through 4 limited scopes. Including siding, windows, doors, asphalt paving, sidewalks and driveway approaches, roofing. Go ahead, Ross, sorry.
I didn't see any experience indicated in siding, windows, doors, and I didn't see any experience indicated in sidewalks, driveways, approaches.
I agree with you, Ross. I didn't see any of that.
So I would make a motion to disapprove this application.
Second.
All right, we got a motion to disapprove application number 11 as well as a second. Cliff, if you could please call roll.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pione.
Aye. Motion carries on disapproving application number 11. Application number 12, Franklin D. Dyer Jr. Looking for a handful, 6 limited scope licenses. Do we know, Tony, do we have any dates on his first indication of position at the bottom of that first page, or did he just leave that off? Looks like he just left it off.
That's the February meeting was a disapproval.
Okay. Yeah, we've already rejected this. Is this supplemental information that's attached, or has anything changed since we've looked at it already?
I think that there was more information, which is why I put it back in there.
That's what I wasn't clear on. Was this looks like it was already included in the original application?
So that is, yeah, the dates are January, so I guess.
Yeah, I wasn't compelled by the additional information. I didn't think that he did not indicate any dates during which he received the experience.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to get a confirmation of disapproval.
I make a motion to disapprove this application.
Thank you. We have a second. Cliff, roll, please.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Neverman,
Aye.
Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pione.
Aye. Motion carries on confirming our disapproval of application number 12. Application number 13 is a general. We have a passed test. We have an indication of experience. This one looked fine to me. Were there any other comments?
No.
Yep, agreed.
I motion to approve this application.
Second.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve application 13 and then 2 seconds. Roll, please, Cliff.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pion.
Aye. Motion carries on approval of application 13. Application 14, single limited scope for Stacy Allen Gibson, sidewalks and driveway approaches.
That looked good to me.
I agree.
I'll make a
Entertain
motion
them.
to approve the application.
Second.
Second.
All right. Cliff, roll call, please.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Dan Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pion.
Aye. Motion carries on approval of application 14. Application 15. It's a lot of pages here.
He's the one
Pretty
who was
good. I
approved
went
last
over it.
year.
Tony, say that again.
He was approved last year, and then someone in his office didn't follow through, and he never. So then and then it was past the time where he could send in his information to get his license. So he reapplied for that license and added siding, windows, and doors. I believe he
Okay.
had roofing already, and then added siding.
I agree with your comment. I thought that was good. Ken or Ross, you guys have any other comments?
Yes, agreed.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Roll, please, Cliff.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Dan Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pion.
Aye. Motion carries approval of application number 15. Application 16, David Geike, limited, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 limited scope licenses that he's applying for. We have previously disapproved this. We have an email. Was that before or after our?
I'm online now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Who is that?
I said, can you hear me now?
Yes. Who is it?
Oh, okay. I am sorry. This is David Dyke. I was having trouble linking up earlier.
Okay, good timing. We just got to you. Thank you. I don't think we have any new information since we previously rejected this based on lack of detail of your experience as it relates to the limited licenses that you're applying for. You're just on the phone, or are you over video?
I'm on the phone and I'm looking at the screen. That's the only way I could link this up.
Okay. Wendy, am I able to swear him in and have him give testimony without being on the video here? I'm not sure what our parameters are.
We have been requiring video access also. Perhaps he can work on that. You can come back to him.
David, is there a chance you can get back to us here in the next bit while we go through the 20 or 30 more applications? And you can get on video, or is that unlikely to happen? Otherwise, I can't really question you and amend your submission without being sworn in.
Okay, let me try to see if I can get that done.
Okay, so we're going to set
Thank you.
We're going to set 16 aside. Davis, let us know when you're able to get back on.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thanks. 17, application number 17 is a general. We have a past test. I thought the hands-on as it related to structural was lacking a little bit, but I'm not sure if anybody viewed that differently. Perhaps so.
I know him personally, and I can vouch for his experience. I've known him for many years, and I know that he's a skilled tradesman.
Can you convince me that the application represents that?
Sure, the application represents that. Do you believe me?
Well, I mean, it's on the fence.
He wrote, Mike, no, I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
1994 to 1998, stick framing pole barn construction.
Mhm.
Can I jump in? I'm sorry. But we can't use personal experiences of the board members to supplement an application.
Yeah, fair enough. I also,
Tom or Ken, do you have any comments as it relates to his application? To me, it's on the fence.
Does say he graduated with a bachelor degree in construction system management from OSU. I mean, it does look like the guy has the experience. He just doesn't do a very good job of relaying that information. Framing assistant, summer work while in college. I mean, 94, that's 4 years, which would equate to 1 full year of hands-on experience.
I thought it was borderline. I didn't think it was totally lacking. So I'll Tom, I don't know if you have any further thoughts on this.
You know,
Tom,
I would agree that he would be qualified for framing of doing barns. I mean, he's been in the business for a while. I would agree to approve it if everybody else agrees with it.
Okay.
I would agree with that, Tom.
Okay.
He's passed the test too, so
And he did pass the test. That's
okay. I'll entertain a motion for that unless anybody has any opinions otherwise.
yeah, I motion to approve this application.
second.
Okay. Cliff, roll please.
Ross Appledorn,
aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pione.
Aye. Motion carries on approval of application number 17 based on the information provided in the application. 18. Is it Nelson Kaufman? Different from what says on the
Yeah.
agenda. Nelson Kaufman's looking for, let's see, general here, right? Or is it 10 limited? I forget. Tony, you clarified that, and my notes are confusing.
I think it's the home improvement contract. He passed the test.
I don't know why his application page isn't up on the screen right now. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. What's he looking for? He wanted the general, right?
He wants to, yes, it was originally the limited, but he changed it to general.
Got it. Okay.
And then he passed.
He passed his test.
We have a passed test, right? Once again, I didn't feel like it was perfectly noted as indicating the hands-on structural experience, but there
The problem with this, Michael, the problem I see with this one is it literally says from 96 till present, he has all facets of building barns. That's different than building homes.
right.
You know what I mean? And then I mean,
Ken,
I don't know. The guy probably would, but he just doesn't indicate it.
Does he need to? He needs to have a license to build barns. Is that correct? That he needs this license to.
Yes.
So that might be a Cliff question. I would say the gentleman's 60 years old. I'd say I'd approve this.
That's what I'm saying. I think he just didn't explain. He didn't relay the information very well. You know what I mean? The guy probably has more experience than well, maybe not you, Tom, but but you know what I'm saying? Like, no, seriously, probably has more experience than me.
Right.
Like,
I felt like it was a little light on, information. It's hard for me to discern. I think ordinarily I'd like to talk to this guy. I'm open to how you guys interpret this application.
Well, Ross,
It's very light. I mean, it says experience in all facets, but I don't know what that means.
Right.
Drawing prints.
gosh, this is a tough one because I obviously the guy passed the test. He's been doing this for 45 years, 44 years.
Yeah, 44 years. I think if he didn't know what he was doing, I think he'd be out of the business.
Right.
Hey guys, if I could, we're looking. We've got to kind of keep in mind that prior to the testing, we were saying that we had to see 5 years of actual hands-on physical framing experience, and that was when there was no testing. Now we have the testing. We have to keep in mind that what the code says is hands-on experience shall be characterized by the active personal involvement of the applicant in the activity directly related to the type of license.
But that being said, then it's unfortunate, but I think we have to get more information and disapprove his application at this time. Right, Cliff? I mean, don't you agree?
I'm just saying that if he's going for a general license, then he has to show the hands-on experience, which, like I said, is defined as the by active personal involvement directly related to the type of license. It doesn't say specifically framing work. It just says that it has to be active personal involvement with activity directly related to the type of license. So somehow they've got to be involved in the activities that would be covered by that license.
It sounds like he's got 24 years of experience then, Cliff. He's got drawing prints to construction. With the construction, he's building them too.
Make a motion, Tom.
I make a motion to approve this application.
Second.
Cliff, call roll, please.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pion.
Aye. Motion carries, approving application number 18. Application number 19, Jonathan Scott Lacey, 4 limited scope licenses.
I had him as a yes on my list.
I got a yes.
Yes. I
I make a motion
approve.
to.
Go ahead.
I make a motion to approve the application.
Second.
Cliff, roll call, please.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pion.
Aye. Motion carries on approval of application 19. Application 20.
Hey. Just a second, Mike, if I could.
Sure.
And Wendy, please chime in if I'm incorrect. I know we kind of would do this when we were together and we looked at the applications ahead of time to kind of determine whether we feel there's enough information or not. I don't know that the intent is for the board to talk amongst themselves and convince each other that all of that information is there in order to make a motion. I think if someone believes that we can make a motion to accept the license, then we can make a motion in a second. And at that point, that's when the board votes and decides, yes, there's enough information or not. It sounds like we're voting before we're voting. That makes sense.
Well, it's very common when we meet in person, we very frequently have a discussion because so many of these are borderline. They could go either way. So it's very common for us to have a discussion and seek out the opinion of the rest of the group.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Right. I'm not sure I'm understanding your concern, Cliff. I think it's going fine.
Okay. Maybe just looking at it a little bit differently, but that's fine. Disregard my comment.
Moving along to application number 20. Unless there are further comments. Scott Rowland Lane. Looking for two limited scope licenses, siding, windows, doors, and roofing.
Again, a yes on my list.
Yes, on my list.
I would make a motion to approve.
I guess the only question is, it said he worked in production to order materials, schedule crews, complete order forms, and supervise commercial jobs.
He provided additional information via email where he worked at building residential houses as a carpenter. Yep.
Got it. Thank you.
I second that, Ross.
Ross, could I hear your motion again? I'm sorry.
I make a motion to approve the application.
Thank you.
I second.
Thank you. Cliff, roll call, please.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pione.
Aye. Motion carries on application number 20 approval. Application number 21, Craig Lance, three limited scopes, sorry. Asphalt paving, sidewalks, driveway approaches. This one looked fine to me.
I make a motion to approve the application.
I'll make a motion. Second.
Did I hear a second from Ken?
Yes, second.
Thank you. Cliff, roll call, please.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pione.
Aye. Motion carries on approval of application number 21. Halfway there, I think. 22, Michael James Marin. We have a passed test for the general.
It was lacking some hands-on experience, the 3 years.
Yeah, I agree
Yep.
with that. I will tell you though that he holds a license in Michigan. That's the hardest test I've ever taken out of all the states that I'm licensed in, and it's the only one I've ever taken that's a closed book test.
Well,
Not that that makes any case for his hands-on experience. It obviously does.
right.
It does say field construction superintendent, which is a little bit different than an office. You know what I mean? He's the field super, so he is working a lot. In my interpretation of the field construction superintendent, from my experience, is a hands-on superintendent, and that to me shows that, you know what I mean? Shows plenty of time.
I could pretty easily be convinced of that, especially given what Cliff just said about the definition of experience.
Agreed. I think in what we've done already today, in my opinion, I would make a motion to approve this guy's license.
I'll second that.
Did you say you would, Ken, or you actually did
Yes,
make a motion?
Yes, I said I am making a motion to approve his license.
And I
Thank
seconded the
you.
motion.
And Ross seconded it. Roll call, please, Cliff.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pion.
Aye. Motion carries on application number 22, approval. Application number 23, Brian Michaelis Woodard. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that 7 limited scope licenses?
Yeah.
We've previously disapproved this. Since then, I think we have supplemental information, or was this indicated? Did we have this first time we looked at it? Trying to figure out what's going on here.
March
new.
4th.
Yeah.
It was before the previous. Did we have this last time? I think we had it when we looked at it initially, so there's nothing new here, correct?
I thought it was new. Mr. Woodard is watching the meeting right now. I'm not sure. Let's see. He said that we didn't have time to set it up to be on visually. I can probably ask him to get on here if you've got questions for him.
My take is that it's not. We don't have indication of all the hands-on experience really as it lines up with each of the requested.
Michael, looking through this, what I see, it says he's only done 6 siding jobs, 5 window jobs, 3 decks, and 2 basement waterproofing. Well, there's no way 2 basement waterproofing take you a year.
Right.
No way 3 decks take you a year. There's no way 6 siding repairs take you a year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like gypsum board, he's completed around 50 gypsum board repair jobs. That's not.
Okay.
Right.
5 stucco jobs is not a year.
Do you want me to have him call in?
Well, call-in doesn't work.
It's even necessary when he.
I'll have Mike Bowen set him up so that he can be visible for the meeting.
If he thinks he can represent that, or if he wants to modify it, I think that's fine. Otherwise, I think we've already made our judgment on this. So we can table this one till the end, right behind the other one that we set aside, and keep moving if that makes sense.
Okay, I will let him know.
Okay. We'll move on to 24. 23, we got to revisit. Application number 24, Adam John Miller, looking for a general. He has a passed test.
I'm not convinced of the hands-on experience. It's all of his experience is painting.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ross. The billing, estimating, scheduling doesn't represent necessary experience.
I would make a motion to deny the application.
Second.
Let me make sure we're looking at the last page, the 4th page of the application before we.
I did look at the last page.
Is it nothing? Doesn't change anything?
No.
It doesn't, and again,
It does say, says, I physically work single family and multi-family homes, new builds, and remodel. But I think
does not indicate any period of time in which he did so.
No.
Okay. So we had a motion and a second, correct?
Yes.
Cliff, roll call, please.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
aye.
Mike Pion.
Aye. So that motion carries to disapprove application number 24 based on lack of appropriate experience. Application number 25, Several limited, looks like 3 masonry fireplaces, prefabricated fireplaces, exterior lath and stucco.
I do not see anything on there that would show that he's got 3 years experience at any of it. It says welding, painting, remodeling, none of that has anything to do with masonry fireplaces.
We need 1 for limited scopes, correct?
Yes.
1
1 year.
in each
1 year.
trade.
So,
3 for the general, which is not the case here.
sorry.
I didn't see anything about fireplaces and wood stoves. He's got,
Ken, I think your second point remains the same. You're valid.
Yeah, I don't see that. I'd make a motion to disapprove this application.
Second.
We have a motion to disapprove and a second. Roll call, please, Cliff.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
aye.
Mike Dion.
Aye. Motion carries, disapproving application number 25. Application number 26. Linda.
I did not see the additional information. They said there was a 1-page indicating areas of specified limitations requested. I did not see that attached to my.
Agreed.
You're talking about application 26, Ken?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. It says that
In
there's
her
a
email,
page.
she writes, she's attaching the missing description of experience sheet. There's no such sheet attached.
Tony, is that something that you have?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm looking at it also. Please advise me whether I need to resubmit the application.
We've previously disapproved this.
Cliff, you have the originals. Do you have an extra page that we don't have in the copies?
I have 3 pages.
That's all I have.
That's all I have.
I would suggest we confirm prior disapproval of this.
Okay, I will reach out to her and see if maybe that page just didn't get sent by accident or something.
If she can send it over, then we could definitely look at it.
Okay. That'll be next month, right?
Depends on how quickly. If we get it in front of us today, we can look at it today. I would say we continue with the confirming the disapproval for sake of motion and completeness on this. We can revisit it if needed, right?
Yes.
Then I would make a motion to disapprove the application.
A motion to disapprove and a second. Roll call, please, Cliff.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Dion.
Aye. Motion carries, confirming the disapproval of application 26. Application 27, we've already reviewed and adjusted it to limited scopes instead of the general. We're done with that one. Application 28, Gabriel
We already did.
Scott Reese, 2 limited scope licenses requested. This one looked okay.
Can't see much.
Yeah. I make a motion to approve the application.
Second.
We have a motion for approval and a second. Roll call, please, Cliff.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Young.
Aye. Motion carries to approve application number 28. Application number 29. I'm looking for 2 limited scope licenses, siding, windows, doors, and also roofing.
I would make a motion to approve this.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve and a second. Roll call, please, Cliff.
Ross Appledorn.
Aye.
Ken Neverman.
Aye.
Tom Sinek.
Aye.
Okay, and we can talk to the phone or talk to the laptop.
Aye. Motion carries on approval of application 29. Application number 30, seeking a general. We have a past test.
Hey, Mike.
Did you go ahead, Cliff?
It looks like Mr. Woodard may be on.
Okay. Is that the case, Brian? Is that you on there?
Yes, sir. That work?
What number was that?
We're going back to 23.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Hey guys. Hey Tony.
Hi. Thanks for joining us. I'm gonna swear you in, Mr. Woodard, and
Yes,
ask
sir.
you a few questions about your application. If I could make a sound so I can see you. If I could get your right hand up. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing. Yes. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. If you could please state your name and address for the record.
Brian Michaelis Woodard, 3210 Zuber Road, Grove City, Ohio, 43123.
Thank you. So you're looking for 7 limited scope licenses?
I'm actually wishing to reduce them if possible.
That's great. I think that'll help our efforts here. Go ahead, tell me which ones you want or don't want, however you.
I'd like to reduce it to 2. The windows, siding, and doors, we don't really do a lot of windows. What we've done siding, and I've done probably 25, 30 doors, interior and exterior. And then we'd also like to do decks as well, which to date has probably been anywhere from 10 to 15 deck installations and numerous repairs. Those are the only 2 that we're interested in right now.
Okay, so the others I can cross off?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then what we need to do is talk about siding, windows, and doors, and separately decking installation, and make sure your experience is representative of what the code requires.
Yes,
if you're talking about just a handful of quantities, it doesn't sound like you have a year of experience with decking. Did I understand that correctly, or or not?
Well, to date, probably, like I said, it's probably been about between 10 and 15 deck installations in the whole time of experience. And then with the doors and the windows, like I said, don't really do the windows part, more the doors in that selection than anything else. And that's probably, 25, 30 doors. And then that's interior, exterior.
How about siding?
Siding, probably I'd say about 10. So not too much on siding, more doors than anything else.
I'm not hearing anything that would equate to what I would expect as a year of experience for any of those. Would you agree with that or disagree with that? You're required to have a year of experience in each of the trades to get the license.
Yes, sir.
Does he
Yes,
have,
sir. Go ahead.
for clarification, Cliff, and Michael, maybe, so siding, windows, and doors, can that all add up to cumulatively to be 1 year? So we can have
Absolutely. It's
so
just not. Go ahead. It's breaking up a little.
What I'm asking Cliff, if you could answer that for me, if he has 4 months of siding and 4 months of windows and 4 months of doors, does that equal? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, again, the way the code says that the definition of hands-on experience is activity directly related to the type of license. So it's going to be a cumulative.
Well, we definitely have over a year experience with the doors. If you combine them both, then we definitely have over a year experience with siding, windows, and doors. But in that selection, mainly doors.
I think that covers the first one. How about the deck installation? I think if you've done the quantity of decks that you mentioned, that sounds like less than a year to me.
Well, so I was with a company called Ohio Handyman, and I worked with them for a year and a half. And I may be a little undershooting the number, but I know to date with my company so far, we've done 10 decks. With them, we were getting a numerous amount of jobs in. So they weren't always decks. They may have been, they may have been siding, they may have been, flooring, whatever. But at least 5 to 10 decks, I know for sure with that company. So within a year and a half with that company, and then being almost, coming up on a year with my company, we're looking at least 15 decks.
Anything prior to that? What'd you do prior to what's indicated here in 2018? Not on anything related?
I was in a different state. No, nothing related to, Ohio Handyman. I mean, I worked as a sole proprietor for a little while, but until I made it, made my company an LLC.
You didn't do any this type of work?
Not for any other companies.
I wish we could frame this in time periods rather than quantity of jobs. It doesn't, 15 or 20 doesn't mean anything to me. I'm really trying to understand whether or not you have 1 year of hands-on experience in each of these trades or whether you do not.
I understand.
You can represent that now. I mean, it sounds like you don't in deck installation. You might in siding, windows, and doors. Brian,
I've been satisfied with the siding, windows, and doors.
Brian, would you say you have at least a year of experience in siding, windows, and doors?
Yes, sir.
Would you say you have a year of experience in deck installation?
I feel like I do, but if what I've mentioned isn't good enough for you guys, then I understand. I'll just get some more experience, and I'll come back and.
Well, it's not a matter of good or bad. It's just a matter of aligning with the requirements of the code associated with the license. So I think 3 deck installations and 10 repairs doesn't sound like a year to me.
No, I don't have 3 deck installations. I have more.
What am I reading in the email here? Did I misread that, or was that a excerpt of something limited? Tell me again your deck experience, and maybe in the time language rather than quantity.
Okay, so from 2018 to now, I probably have anywhere between about 15 decks, I would say, 10 to 15 decks. And that's installation and repair. Well, way more in repair, but.
I guess I'd be inclined to encourage approval of the siding, windows, and doors, but not the deck installation based on that. Again, it sounds like less than a year, and I'm not hearing that in a timeline.
I understand.
I agree with that. So do we need to ask Mr. Woodard to modify his application?
Yes, and we started to do that. I'll confirm. If you're good with reducing the limited scope to simply the individual siding, windows, and doors license, I think it sounds like we're inclined to do that. I think the deck installation it doesn't sound like you meet the requirements.
Okay.
You're okay with
I'm
reducing it
fine
to
with that.
Okay, so we'll reduce it to the siding, windows, and doors scope, and proceed with that. We'll reduce or eliminate the other requested scopes.
Okay, that sounds fine. I appreciate that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I make
Thank
a
you.
motion to approve the application for one limited scope, siding, windows, doors.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the siding, windows, and doors limited scope, and we have a second as well. Cliff, roll call, please.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Everman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek, Mike Pione.
Aye. So the motion carries for application number 23 for the limited, simply the siding, windows, and doors approval. Thank you. So we were on,
Thank you.
and Brian, if you're still there, Tony will have some information to follow up with you, I think probably in the mail or email. So feel free to follow up with her for any next steps.
We're on 30, right, Michael?
I believe so, yes. So 30, general, Terry Sloan, and we have an approved, we have a passed test.
Yeah. Cliff,
I
does
did
building wooden wheelchair ramps count as frame experience?
I did not see the experience for an HIC.
Well, he built wooden ramps for 6 years.
That doesn't mean he can build a house.
I don't know if it does or not. I'm asking Cliff if that is qualifying experience.
I mean, it is hands-on experience. It's a matter of whether it's related to an activity directly related to the type of license that he wants.
Well, he wants an HIC.
Yeah, which encompasses a lot. I mean, you can build wheelchair ramps with an HIC license.
I don't personally, please speak up, I don't personally see any things with building with LVLs or headers or rafters, stick-built framing.
Ken, I agree, you cut out there, Ken, but I agree with you. I think we ordinarily would want to talk to this guy and hear about the experience and if he can represent it. Tom or Ross, any other comments?
I'm fine.
Structural, yeah, I'd say, let's talk to him.
Okay, I'll make a motion to disapprove the application.
There was a second, I didn't hear it. Thank you, Tom. Cliff, roll call, please.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman, Ken,
Like Ken's lost the audio.
okay, I'll go on. Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pione,
Aye.
Ken
Does that-
Neverman,
There's Ken.
Ken.
Hey, it just, my phone just dropped, so,
Did we hear an aye from you, Ken?
aye.
Thank you. Motion carries on disapproval of application number 30, specifically for the lack of hands-on specific experience. Is David on there? Are you ready to hop back into your application, David? We can jump back to 16 if you're ready. David, is it Geike? Okay, we'll keep going. I thought I saw his video feed on there. Application.
Yeah.
I see him on there. David Geike, right?
Yes, I'm on here. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes. You're ready to join us?
Yes, I'm ready if you can hear me.
I can hear you. I can't see you. I'm not sure. There you are. Okay. Yeah, we'll have some questions for you. I'll swear you in and we'll go through those if that's okay.
Let's do it.
If I could get your right hand up. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. If you could please state your name and address for the record, I would appreciate it.
David Geike. That is G-Y-K-E.
Address.
4448. Yes, I do.
I missed the address.
Name is David Geike. That is correct. Address, G-Y-K-E, sir. 4448 San Jose Lane.
That's Whitehall 43213, correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. If you're looking for five limited scope licenses, I think we were looking for some specific experience associated with each of those five.
Yeah. Well, so since 1977, I've been working in each of these areas, except for decks, and I'll have to withdraw that one because I do have less than a year.
Let's talk about siding and doors, what you've done and what time frame.
Since 1977 till current.
I'm sorry, which discipline did you ask to remove?
I don't have the experience for the decks by your standards.
Thank you.
Till current, that is correct.
What about sidewalks and driveway approaches? David, how about your experience associated with sidewalks and driveway approaches?
Sideway and driveway approaches, about 5 years of putting forms and following blueprints.
I'm curious why you didn't indicate that on your application.
Well, I'm sorry, sir. My father was in a nursing home. He got affected by COVID, and our whole family's just been through everything till he passed away. So
Sorry to hear that.
Absolutely, sorry.
that is correct. I wasn't sure. Thank you. That is correct.
I'm not hearing someone's part of this conversation. All
I'm
I'm
not
hearing,
hearing it either.
I just hear Mr. Geik's responses. I'm not hearing anything else.
Okay, so we covered siding, windows, doors. We covered sidewalks, driveway approaches, roofing. David, your experience as it relates to roofing, please.
About 15 or 20 years residential only, tear off and single asphalt shingle replacement.
Yeah, I remain curious why you didn't simply indicate that experience on your original application.
Roofing, I got about 7 to 8 years residential.
I'm confused.
Part of it's a bad connection, and I think there's a delay that's
Okay.
adding communication issue here. I think the content is an issue in of itself. Ross, maybe try your last question again.
I just don't understand why you didn't indicate that experience on your application. And now, unless I misheard, when you originally said 15 years roofing, then a moment later you said 7 years to the same question.
I'm getting bits and pieces here. It's between 7 and 11. This connection's awful.
I don't think this is working.
I agree with you, Ross.
Out of the same time, I've used probably 15 years, but currently it's only been 7.
I'm not sure I understand that.
My experience goes over 40 years. I was out of roofing for a while, and then I came back to it.
I don't think that technology is going to allow us to have a meaningful conversation here.
That is correct.
Should we table this one and try to see if he has a better connection towards the end? Or should we act on it?
Well, I'd like to give him an opportunity to provide information, because I can't say that I'm convinced of the hands-on experience at this point.
Right.
Well, it sounded like he was saying that he had 15 years of roofing experience, then he got out of roofing, and now he has another 7 years of experience.
That's correct, sir.
Sounds like a total of 22 years of roofing experience.
Okay.
It sounds like he qualifies on that one.
Yep.
How about your gypsum board? Have you did a lot of gypsum board over your years?
I've done that nonstop, sir. I work especially with old school plaster now. Gypsum board.
Did we cover each of the four after striking the deck installation? Does anybody have any further questions or need further?
I've done gypsum board for about 25 to 35 years. I
So
work in
if I
plaster
understand,
now.
so Michael, we have 4 of them on the table then, correct?
Yes, we struck deck installations.
All right, let's move forward, and if we're ready to make a motion.
Make a motion to approve the application. To limit it to siding, window, doors, sidewalks, driveway approaches, gypsum board, and roofing.
Second.
Have a motion to approve that. And we have a second. Cliff, roll, please.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pion.
Motion carries on approval of the four indicated limited scope licenses for application number 16. David, thank you for joining us. Tony will have some follow-up information for you at another time.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm sorry about this connection.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
30, and we're on to 31.
Correct.
31. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, 5. I think fencing was struck. 5 limited scope for Alan George Stark. We previously rejected, disapproved this, asking for more information. It looks like we have more information in the email that Tony attached. Removal of fencing, but not really much beyond that.
He didn't give any, from my understanding, it doesn't look like we got any more information. He just removed fencing, that was it.
Agree.
And I'm gonna make a motion to deny his application.
I'll
Okay.
second that.
All right, roll please. Application 31, we have a motion to disapprove and a second. Roll call please, Cliff.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek, Mike Pion.
Aye. So motion carries to disapprove application 31. Application 32, looking for a limited scope and 2 trades, roofing, also siding, windows, and doors for Robert Stock. We have previously rejected this in March. There was some information provided beyond that. Here.
I'm inclined to approve this application.
What made you, what more additional did you see?
Well, Wendy's not going to like this, but this guy used to be a subcontractor of mine installing roofing and siding.
Again,
I
we
did-
can't interject personal experience into
Right.
the
And then-
application.
Agreed. And then he wrote 25 years installing, repairing, Velux, roof install and repair. And he wrote,
I see the additional note that says he had over 30 years roofing experience, and both as a tradesperson and inspector. That's good enough for me then.
But does that include siding, or does, I don't know that company, does that company do siding work that would imply or include the siding piece? I get the roofing part. I think what he supplemented covers that. I don't get the siding part, or I don't see it there explicitly.
I agree with that. The roofing, I think, is easily approved, but the I don't see any indication of siding experience.
Other than if the company that he was working for did that, which I don't know that company, and that'd be a little bit of a assumption if I were to try to include that. So I feel like the roofing would be fine if he could tell us that he'd be willing to change his application. The siding, unless there's some information somebody has that would associate it with that company, then I feel like we need to turn it down.
I have personal knowledge, but that's, I understand, not can't be applied.
Company do siding work? Skylights Plus, is that the company that he worked for?
He worked as a subcontractor for Able Roofing for many years.
So if you consider your skylights as 1 year experience and with siding, windows, and doors, he would have the experience.
I don't know. He did a very poor job of listing his experience in writing.
Right. Oh, I agree with you. I definitely agree with you.
I guess from what goes back, it goes back to what Cliff said earlier, and I guess the question would remain: is a skylight considered part of windows, or is that part of roofing?
A combination.
Well, roofing would be, I mean, specific to the roof, tear off roofing and installation of roof sheathing and things like that. I think the skylights are probably fall more under the windows.
If that's the case, Cliff, then I would feel he has enough experience, and I would personally, and I'll make a motion, and then in my opinion, I think there's enough there. I would make a motion to go ahead and approve this application.
One second.
So Cliff, roll call please on the approval motion and the second.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Dion.
I'm going to decline with a nay. Nonetheless, the motion carries and the application is approved. That's application 32. Application 33. Brian Taylor, looking for a general. He has passed the test.
This one is on the edge for me. He did not do a great job of indicating his hands-on experience in writing.
I'm in agreement with you because it says responsible for framing walls, install kitchen cabinets, and then he says various carpenter tasks. Various carpenter tasks does not mean all. I mean, wow.
I mean, it's real close.
I agree with
He
you.
did pass though.
Yeah, he's got a plus there. He's got 3 years experience.
I think it'd be good to hear from.
I would not have any. I wouldn't have any objection to approving it.
I motion to approve this application.
Second.
Cliff, roll, please.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pion.
Aye. Motion carries to approve the general for application number 33. 34, looking for just a roofing limited scope. Joseph Twombly, I think.
From what I saw, I would make a motion to approve this license.
I'll second that.
Cliff, roll, please.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pion.
Aye. Motion carries to approve the roofing application number 34. 35.
Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have to get going. You guys are doing great. Just try to limit those, personal knowledge comments. But otherwise, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
Application
Good
35.
enough.
What was that?
Hey, Mike,
Yes.
looking at this application, it's not notarized.
Okay.
Cliff,
Yeah.
depending on when it came in, they are waiving some of the notary things because a lot of people would come in and
Meeting here, I'll give you a
have
call.
them notarized here or have them notarized at a bank, and with everything being closed, they were not able to get to notaries.
Okay. Yeah, because this came in May 6th, so the notary would be waived.
Okay.
Correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Thank you, Tony.
So we can review this one.
Yes.
That looks good to me. I'd make a motion to approve it.
Second.
Roll, please.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pion.
Aye. Motion carries on approval of application number 35. 36, another limited, looking for 4 siding, window, doors, deck installation, fencing, and roofing. Uriah Ward David. We have previously seen this. Tony, go ahead.
I got confused there. So Twombly was a yes, and then that last one about the one that we
Last
were
3,
discussing.
33, 34, and 35 were all approved.
Yeah. It's
30. Oh, I got it. Okay, thank you. I'm good. Thank you.
We're on 36 now.
Thank you.
I can honestly tell you from the additional experience, the additional information provided, he still didn't. He says he's got the experience. I don't know. You guys tell me. It says from 2000. He's been in construction since 2016, but I don't know. Tough.
I mean, he's not making it easy for us to, for sure.
We previously rejected it. He doesn't seem to be represented here. I guess I would encourage that we try to talk to him or reject it until he wants to talk to us.
I'd be happy to talk to him.
I agree with that.
Motion to disapprove the application.
My motion to disapprove the application and forward it to bringing him to talk to about further qualifications.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pione.
Aye. Motion carries to disapprove application 36. Application 37, another limited, looking for 6 of them. Kyle Wilson.
To me, this is not even close. He said several whole houses, that doesn't take a year. And several decks, that does not take a year. I would make a motion to disapprove this license.
Second.
And for the record, we already did that once. So we're kind of confirming.
He didn't
the
provide
roll.
anything else.
There's nothing new. We'll take
Correct.
roll on that, please, Cliff.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pione.
Aye. So motion carries, essentially confirming our prior disapproval of application 37. 38 we already reviewed, and I think just struck one, modified it, and approved it. 39, application number 39, Douglas Worley, looking for 3 limited scope licenses.
I did not see anything about masonry fireplaces.
I didn't see, the only thing that I saw actually was some maybe deck that he would have enough experience, but he doesn't break it down.
Gentlemen, he indicated from 1983 to 1990, he did all kinds of flooring, plus deck and privacy fence construction, rough and finish construction, roofing, siding, window installation, masonry, and new construction.
All right.
But masonry, but he didn't include fireplaces. I mean, that's kind of a.
That's pretty specific. Fireplaces are pretty specific.
Yeah, you could chuck point and do all kinds of masonry repairs and stuff, but building a fireplace, that's.
On his second exposition, he mentioned completing masonry work on chimney caps, which isn't fireplaces, but it's adjacent, I guess. I don't know.
That's almost like a repair. They're repairs.
That's a repair. It's not a building the flue.
Right.
Cliff, at what point would a chimney repair require a permit?
You get in the firebox.
Yeah, I mean, anything beyond tuck pointing or the actual cap, the top of it, where you're just repairing it, if you're reconstructing the chimney, that would require a permit. I guess when you're actually getting into the liner itself, that's what's going to make it require a permit.
The flue, yeah.
Yeah.
And if I was putting an application in, I would definitely say if I built fireplaces, I would definitely actually put down I built actually.
I agree. That makes me nervous. That's a huge fire hazard. Huge fire hazard.
Yes.
So given our current format, if we can't approve them all, we can't approve any of them.
Correct.
So I would make a motion to disapprove the application.
Second.
Cliff, roll call, please.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Neverman,
Aye.
Cynic,
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries to disapprove application 39. Application 40, limited roofing only, Emmanuel Yoder. This one looked fine to me.
His only indication of hands-on experience, he writes, "Hello, I'm letting the Columbus Building Department know that I'm on the job myself. I have 18 plus experience." I don't know what that means. But I'm not strongly opposed either, but I'm not personally convinced.
I feel like it's a poor presentation of information that. Go ahead, Ken.
No, you're right. It's frustrating because that doesn't clarify anything to me.
That's what I think.
I would ask him for more information. He may not even have to come in. Just send him an email and say, "Can you please clarify your experience?" I'd make a motion to deny his application.
Tony already did that.
I read that. I know.
Yeah.
Well, he said if you need anything else, well, we do.
Yeah.
I'm on board with that, Ken.
Okay, I'll make a motion to deny the application.
Second.
And this is the application for Emmanuel Yoder?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Cynic,
Aye.
Mike Pion,
Aye. Motion carries for application 40's disapproval. 41, looks like Galen Hardesty.
I'll make a motion to approve from what I've seen.
That's demo only.
Second. Yeah.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Cliff, roll call, please.
Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Cynic,
Aye.
Mike Pion.
Aye. Motion carries for approval of the demo application number 41. Demo application number 42, Eric Park.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Cliff, roll call, please.
Ross Appledorn, Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Cynic,
Aye.
Mike Pion.
Aye. Motion carries for approval of application number 42, the final one on the list. Demo application. I've got a note to jump back to number 10. Do we have any new information or on 10, Tony, whether that Joshua was able to join us or supply anything?
The professional engineer, is it not?
No.
No, that was the one that I think you had a message or something that he was trying to get on. He could get on his phone, but not video.
He did. That was the gentleman that Mike Bowen. It was Mr. Oh, hang on, because I have a text.
Well, there were a couple.
Okay, this one was Mr.
Con.
Mr. Woodard was one. Mr. Con is.
It's 10.
Did I have an email from him? Joshua.com. Hang on, let me see what I've got. I'm not finding it right now. And then I just had a message back from, no, I'll just get him the information to try to be here before you for the next meeting, I guess.
Yeah. He probably indicated enough experience to qualify for the HIC, but he certainly did not indicate experience to qualify for each of the limited licenses.
Okay, I've lost my meeting. Hang on a second.
Michael, what do you guys use for video conferencing?
It's a mix. Usually, what subcontractors or architects have, which is Zoom or GoTo, or it seems like there's 5 or 6 different ones now. We have Teams in the office, but everybody uses it, and then they turn off their cameras. It's kind of funny.
We have the G Suite, so we Google Hangouts. I have to say I'm not a big fan of this WebEx deal.
Yeah. No, this has been the worst one I've been on yet.
There might be ancillary contributions as well. With
You look good on it, man.
Feed I've had
Just want to
as my own.
Just want to remind everybody, this is on YouTube and being recorded.
Okay. YouTube can see that our tax dollars hard at work.
Yeah.
Hello? I lost my sound for a minute. Sorry, guys. Hello?
Yes.
We hear you, Tony.
I couldn't hear you guys. Were you asking me something? Because I had nothing.
No, probably better that way.
Well, we have a decision on what we're doing with Mr. Khan.
Oh, I don't.
Do you guys want to just, Tony? Did he reach out to you to try to connect at one point and just failed, or?
Not today. I have notes from my previous contact with him that he wanted to be present at the meeting, but he's received the same communication that all the other applicants did. An email last week saying that the meeting was this week and to contact Cliff if he wanted to be part of this meeting today. I don't believe, I'll have to double check, but I don't believe I had a recent communication of him trying to attend.
And Cliff, did he ever contact you?
No, I think this is the one that Wendy said that we should table to give him the opportunity to come back next month.
No, we already.
I think we.
Oh, I thought we already tabled that one.
Well, we already disapproved it.
No, it was tabled.
I think we tabled it for today, hoping he'd come back for the rest for today.
Yeah.
Do we leave it tabled, or do we need a motion to disapprove it again?
From my understanding from Wendy, we leave it tabled for next week to give him the opportunity.
Next month?
That sounds good to me.
Or next month. Next month, next week, whatever.
I don't want to do this again next week.
Time's relative right now.
So we'll leave that tabled as we established. Any other business, Cliff or Tony?
Not right now. Isn't that enough?
Yes.
We call to adjourn. Say again, Cliff.
So we shouldn't have as many applications next month, but we'll probably have a couple of due process.
That'd be
Hopefully they have
interesting.
good connections.
Yeah.
Do I need a motion to adjourn, please?
I make a motion to.
Second.
Steph, roll, please. Do we need a roll on that one?
Please.
Probably. Ross Appledorn,
Aye.
Ken Neverman,
Aye.
Tom Sinek,
Aye.
Mike Pion.
Aye. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank
Have a great day,
you.
everybody. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything.
Let us click the end meeting button. So kind of hovering your buttons down below, down in here. There you go.
That's what I said there, because I'm not up there. How do I get me up here? There we go.
Oh, there it is. Okay. So then go ahead and click the leave meeting. End meeting.